We don't have to live with being raped when we think we're going to a business meeting.
I don't see how we can possibly feed 65 million people in our country without buying food from abroad.
I have no idea what I'm doing, so that's kind of scary.
Harvey Weinstein was the most powerful figure in the movie industry.
A man who controlled the fortunes and, in many cases, livelihoods of scores of people in Hollywood.
Melissa Thompson was a 28-year-old businesswoman who'd arranged a meeting at his company.
Well, tonight Sky News can reveal for the first time what happened at that meeting, with video filmed on Ms. Thompson's laptop.
Interrupt. All right, hello, Melissa Thompson.
Hello, Harvey Weinstein.
How are you?
Happy New Year.
That's nice. Nice to do that.
How's your day?
How's your day?
I was thinking, okay, he's hugging me, what do I do now? I was sensing I have to be a little bit more vigilant of this situation than I originally thought.
Someone has a flirt with you?
Well, a little bit.
A little bit, not much, right? Okay, then, all right, then I won't. So what do you want?
No, it's okay. So I have your hands in so many things, and you do so many things, so I have a lot to tell you.
Every time that he towed the line of being inappropriate enough where I may have said something, he could sense it, and he pulled back and he changed the dynamic again.
Let's say I wanted to show a trailer. You mean of my movie? You know what I mean? Like I have the Marilyn Monroe movie.
So let's talk about Marilyn Monroe movie. People who would be interested in that movie. Who would be interested in that movie?
Just tell me what I can do. It's fun to do this.
Okay,
but I'm actually seriously having a conversation.
Good. Well, we can do both.
Okay.
Okay. So would it be what's the target demographic?
Women.
Okay. So we're gonna buy space. We're gonna buy ad space on Vogue.com.
Do you think you might have encouraged him?
I don't think I purposely encouraged him. At first I tried to, volley a bit with him. If he would make a comment, I would try to catch it and return it in a way that felt it's a little safer than the way he threw it at me. Now I see he's trying to, in any way you can, move me into that zone of comfortable then uncomfortable and confused and vulnerable, and recognizing that he's powerful and I'm not, and that I need this deal from him, and he has the power to give it to me. We can have like to win 2 VIP passes to the premiere in New York, and they have to like it. So now you're generating all these likes on your Facebook page.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to use your service.
Good.
On Marilyn Monroe.
Good.
And then, you can sign me up. Tell your boss.
And so he's going from almost pulling a trigger on using this platform to then he would put his hand up under the table, up my dress. I was trying to save face a bit. At first I was trying to kind of manage the situation. There was a combination of confidence and naivety that led me to, this dynamic that we see now.
Data's so hot, right?
What's that?
Data's so hot.
It is hot. You're hot. You got a little bit hot. It's okay?
A little bit.
Right.
A little hot. It's a little high. That's a little high. So another thing I was thinking is, Sarah, I don't know how much you were involved, but the Sarah Jessica Parker movie with Skyrocket. Were you using Skyrocket? Some kind of app thing. I don't know, never mind. It was like a buy the look, where they wanted to, in the trailer, they wanted people to be able to buy her clothing, so they partnered with Outlook and whatever, Blue Fly.
It's not me.
Okay, whatever. I can do that too. I
tried to keep it on script in terms of pitching him the product, but
he was still touching you on the shoulder.
He was still touching me on the shoulder.
What's running through your head as that's happening?
What do I do? How did I get myself here? I lost my train of thought, and I was trying so hard to gain back my own mental footing. At some point, his whole affect changed, and he looked like a predator. His eyes became dark.
What would you say to someone who might watch that and say, well, Melissa was flirting with him? Is that what you see when you watch it?
It was more tricky than I think it's possible to judge from looking at it. I worked on Wall Street before I went to business school, and I worked in an environment that was heavily male-dominated. I thought I could handle it. I had never met anyone that I couldn't handle until Harvey Weinstein.
You want some water?
When you go to the kitchen, you adjust the angle of the computer.
I did.
Why?
I knew that I was losing the ability to control the situation and keep it professional, so I had entered that fight or flight mode, and I was scared of him.
What are you doing afterwards? Later.
No.
Gotta go edit a movie.
What was that?
I've got to go edit a movie, but I'll meet you somewhere. I'll meet you for a drink.
What time?
It's 3:34. I'll meet you at 5:30 at Tribeca Grand.
Okay.
Were you under the impression that that meeting was to close the deal, potentially?
Yes. So it wasn't at 10 p.m. It wasn't an invitation to come to his hotel room. It was an invitation to go to a hotel lobby that was within blocks of the office. And so that to me felt much safer than being alone with him in his office.
Melissa's business meeting and the alleged rape are part of a class action lawsuit against Weinstein and others connected to him who might have known what was happening.
Had people been more vocal and not said, yeah, that's Harvey, or yeah, we have to live with that. You don't. We don't have to live with things that are illegal and abusive, and we don't have to live with being raped when we think we're going to a business meeting.
In a statement, Harvey Weinstein's lawyer Benjamin Brafman said, several respected journalists and trustworthy individuals have seen the entire video. The video, when viewed in its entirety, in context and not in select excerpts, demonstrates that there is nothing forceful but casual, if not awkward flirting from both parties. Anything short of that is intended to make Mr. Weinstein appear inappropriate and even exploitative. It was produced by Ms. Thompson to bolster her position in a civil lawsuit seeking money. This is a further attempt to publicly disgrace Mr. Weinstein for financial gain, and we will not stand for it. Facts do matter.
Clarke, how are you? Well, I asked this because this time last year you were in a very dark place. You went missing.
Yes.
And we'll pick up with that story at the moment. But how are you today, 12 months on?
Incredibly well, thank you.
Great.
Incredibly well, yeah. You know, I think I am in the most emotionally, psychologically well state that I've been as an adult, which is just incredible. Not without hard work, but we're there, and it's awesome.
Because you've battled with your mental health for a number of years, and this incident I'm referring to this time last year, you went missing.
Yeah.
And your wife put out an appeal on social media to try and find you because she thought she would never see you again.
I can't, you know, it's hard for me to kind of appreciate what I put my family through with the decisions that I made when I was in that state. But yeah, you know what? A little bit of awareness actually saved my life, because instead of just going out and trying to kill myself, I tried to find a responsible way to kill myself, because I was trying to think about the witnesses, the first responders, you know, the impact on A, B and C, and it was that procrastination that enabled a member of public who'd seen the social media appeal to take 1 minute out of his day and just come and say hello to me and sit me down on the park. And that's been the beginning of this year-long journey where my family and I, we've made some huge strides, like I said, not without hard work, but with fantastic rewards.
The good news is national statistics show that male suicide rates are at their lowest since records began. But Clarke, it's still the biggest killer of men under the age of 45. Yeah. It's going to affect your mental health for the better to talk about it, not to bottle it up. Were you talking enough before you got to that point last September?
No, I wasn't. Oh, in fact, no, I'm going to take that back. I was talking, but I wasn't talking honestly enough. And there's a distinct difference between, how are you? Yeah, I'm all right, fella. Yeah, all good, happy days. Yeah. And how are you? Do you know what? Just got this and that going on at home, and it's really making me feel down. There's a distinct difference. And You know, my wife wrote an article last week up in Newcastle in the Journal, and it's about 84 men will take their lives next week. 84 this week, next week, the week after, and they're entirely preventable. She makes a fantastic point. They're entirely preventable. And like Owen said, it's about listening, you know, and the difference is between what I used to do and what I do now. I talk with honesty, but also when I listen, it's not my responsibility to make this person better. You know, I used to think, oh, I've got to fix you. I've got to do this for you. I've got to do that for you. No, no, not at all. I used to listen, and once I'd listen, I'd say, so how can I help you in this? What do you want me to do for you? 9 times out of 10, that person will say, do you know what? Nothing. Thanks for listening. And it takes a huge load off what's going on in their mind. But verbalising what's going on in your mind decreases the power or the frustration or the latent thoughts so much, so much.
Well, whatever kind of Brexit deal is negotiated, if the United Kingdom leaves the single market, it's likely there'll be some kind of border with the European Union. For business, that means red tape, bureaucracy, and potential logjams. Why do we say that? Well, our Europe correspondent Mark Stone has been out on the road with the delivery driver to see how Switzerland manages it.
I'm never late. I'm never late. Straight down the middle of France, through the Mont Blanc, down to Turin, towards Milan, and then down the bottom leg towards Rome.
Just in time, what does that mean?
Just in time deliveries, obviously, it's in trucks and vans. It will literally come off your van and straight onto the production line. Once you put a barrier up in the middle of that operation, it no longer is called a just-in-time movement.
You sound like a right old pessimist.
Just being factual. I've been doing it for 15 years. I've crossed every border. I've invited many MPs to come on a job with me, to come and see what it's like, how it works. Not a Swiss job, just a job to come out of London, to go to France, to experience what it means to have open borders for commercial goods. And not one of them wants to come with me. It will gridlock from day one. It would take a decade to build more than a decade, to build the necessary infrastructure that this country needs. All the salad that comes in from the Netherlands, the oranges, the cucumbers that come from the greenhouses of Almeria, all come in on trucks to meet the supermarket shelves to make sure they're not empty.
We could grow our own food.
I don't see how we can possibly feed 65 million people in our country without buying food from abroad. We can't grow oranges anyway, and I quite like oranges. It's true though, we don't have the climate.
But this is all Project Fear, people will say. It's never gonna come to pass.
They'll only realise when it's happened. Do you know, I've been talking to you for so long, I forgot to book my train.
Today marks the 17th anniversary of the September the 11th of 2001 terror attacks, 9/11, in which almost 3,000 people were killed. Here, the annual BGC Charity Day, it will be remembering the 658 colleagues and 61 Eurobroker employees of that financial company who were lost in the World Trade Center on 9/11. It will raise money for a number of charities, a range of celebrities actually assisting brokers in making multi-million-pound deals. Let's speak to one of them who's joining the fundraising effort. That's the singer Nicole Scherzinger. What are your memories of that day? And are you sure that we're remembering it in the right way? I mean, I've talked to teenagers recently and mentioned 9/11 to them, and they scarcely knew what I was talking about.
I mean, I can't imagine a better way actually to remember it. In fact, I just flew here a few hours ago from New York City. So I remember that day like it was yesterday. And I remember watching everything unfold and happen in front of me on TV, and it was such a tragic day. So I'm so proud to be here right now, raising awareness for a cause, making the world a better place in some way, giving back. So I think it's a great way to honor and remember the people who were lost.
Tell us what you're doing there today.
I'm here representing the Special Olympics. I'm here to raise money and awareness for them.
And practically, how will you raise money? Are you actually making deals? Are you cold calling people, tapping them for cash? How does it work?
It is like, honestly, it's like a zoo here. I've never done anything like this. I'm actually on the phone making trades. I'm just spouting off numbers. I've just learned that a yard is $1 billion. So, like, we're just making a lot of money, and that's what I love. People want to make big deals, big numbers.
Sounds like you're in danger of precipitating a new financial crisis if you carry on like that.
I have no idea what I'm doing, so that's kind of scary. But I think we're doing good. I think we've raised a lot of money today.
How much do they hope to raise?
How much do we hope to raise? I mean, 150,000. 150,000. Oh, 150 million today? Yeah, I've already raised that a couple hours ago this morning.
Nothing.
What has happened here? What a way to bring it up. What a way to bring up 3 figures. Alistair Cook has done it. A century in his first ever test match and now a century in his last. Well played.
Ever since it's been announced, you hope you have a good week, but just to top it off, obviously, with a score here was just like incredible. Like, sometimes dreams do come true, and I suppose today, on a purely selfish thing, and then even just fielding it short leg, you know, with the crowd singing the Barmy Army song, it's just, you know, it's why you play sport, I suppose, occasionally for those little selfish moments, and that was very special. It was an emotional moment, I mean, there was definitely a lump in my throat, I mean, that ovation. And it makes it special, obviously. I've got about 30 friends here today, and obviously family as well. It's just, you couldn't have scripted it, actually. Today is just one of those days where, you know, you'll forever look back and just think, wow.
What will you miss?
The dressing room, obviously. Obviously, in my little statement, I said, you know, playing with some great players. I will obviously miss that, sitting in the change room, but the timing's right, and it is right. It just makes this even more special, and it just is such a nice way for me personally to go.
Now, there's a musical genre that was forgotten for a while, but the success of films like Pitch Perfect has made a cappella cool again.
The last famous British a cappella group were the Flying Pickets.
Who can forget them?
Who had a Christmas #1 in 1983. Some people will not remember them, 1983.
I remember them.
Only You was the name of the song.
All I needed was the love you gave. All I needed for another day. And all I ever knew. Only you.
Unforgettable sideburns, if nothing else.
Yeah, well, there is now an a cappella group taking the world by storm. They don't have the sideburns, but they are selling more tickets for their live shows than any other a cappella group in the world.
Straight No Chaser are the only a cappella group to have worked with and recorded with some legendary artists, the likes of Stevie Wonder, say Elton John, Paul McCartney, and many others besides.
I was trying to get Colin to do some dad dancing, but all he did was tap his feet. That was the most I got out of him.
There was a certain degree of rhythm
there was a bit of tapping, yeah. Well, Straight No Chaser have taken time out from their tour to join us live in the studio this morning. Thank you very much, chaps. It's really lovely to have you here. Charlie, to you first of all, why do you think a cappella hasn't been so popular in recent years, and it's suddenly you guys have got this resurgence?
I think there was a time where it kind of seemed like kind of a dorky vibe for a music genre.
Today is gonna be the day that we're gonna go back to you.
When we came into it, we were doing more current songs. We wanted to have fun with it. I mean, that's our whole thing. We want to enjoy everything that we're doing.
I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do.
We started this group really to meet girls, and in college that was the best icebreaker, you know. women love guys who can sing, and none of us can play guitar that well, so singing was just the natural fit.
And just in terms of the mechanics of how you got to where you are now, you're a sort of campus outfit, university, yes? But the big thing that launched you was YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. We left the group at Indiana University. It still exists. There's still kids in that group every year, new kids. We left it on its own, and we went and did day jobs all over the country. And then because of YouTube, we got a call from Atlantic Records. Do you guys still sing together? And we were like,
Because your 12 Days of Christmas on YouTube, what was
Yes.
it, 20 odd million people saw it. And the thing that's staggering about it, we've all tried to sing rounds at Christmas time, haven't we? But how do you manage that sort of, contrapuntal is the word, isn't it, when you're singing against each other? How do you keep your training?
A lot of rehearsal. We did a lot of rehearsal. It's a lot harder than it sounds, and we make it look fun and easy, but that took a lot of work.
This is Sky News Radio on Friday the 14th of September. Production of one of the world's most iconic cars is to end next year.
I have squeezed myself into this old Beetle. I'm joined by Ivan McCutcheon as well, an expert in cars like this. So tell us a little bit about this car.
This is a 1961 version. It's beryl green, which is a very typical colour of the early 60s. It's right-hand drive, which is obviously quite rare now, and it's still going strong.
And in terms of the history of this car, it's been going 70-odd years. Has it remind us of its founding?
The Beetle was first introduced into Germany in 1938 by a group of guys who we won't talk about too much.
It was Adolf Hitler, wasn't it?
It was his group, yes, yes. But it didn't actually start until after the war, production of the car, which was down to the British Army.
Why don't we attempt to get this thing going, Ivan? Hey, it works.
Reliable.
Doing my best here. Let's see if we can get this thing moving. Hey, we're going. No stalling either. How about that? It actually handles quite well. A bit tough on the steering, Ivan. Gotta say, yeah, a little bit.
You're only doing about 4 miles an hour.
Hey, we got to stay safe. We've got to stay safe.